I'll tell you this quick story. My mum and dad met each other in 1978.
Oh.
I was born in 1986.
Right.
And my dad, they lived about 2 miles from each other, so not too far. But my granddad, he died like 20 years ago, but big, like sort of bald, big-chested, ex-army guy.
Right.
You know the type, like proper, had his tools and proper like alpha male moustache.
Working class alpha. I love it. Yeah, I love people like that.
And I remember my dad telling me, like, because he didn't have a house phone, he would have to generally like walk 2 miles, knock on the door, not even know whether he was in or not. And sometimes my granddad would answer and be like, yeah, she's not in. So the amount of effort that went into like courting that relationship is just not there anymore.
No.
In fact, it's the complete opposite. Where you go, before you even go on a date with someone, you've literally scouted them out on Facebook. You've looked at their Instagram. You know whether they've got kids. You know, you literally know the fucking life story. Yeah,
you've created this huge perception about them already.
Yeah,
I feel like the lack of effort it takes to do stuff these days has really ruined everybody.
Yeah.
Full stop. Yeah. No one can be bothered to do anything properly.
I mean, the big problems that are getting, if you look at all the big companies in the world, it's all convenience. The problems that they're solving are convenience. So you look at the Amazons of the world and the Facebooks of the world and the Instagrams of the world, it's all making your life more cushy, basically.
Yeah.
Like you could literally live anywhere in the world, anywhere, and have an Amazon delivery on your doorstep within 10 hours.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, we're all so busy. Nothing's easier. We should have put this on the podcast. But nothing is easier as it is now. You can meet your partner with a swipe. You can get something in 10 hours. But we are so busy.
Yeah.
What are we doing? We should be calmer because we don't have to go to the shops. We don't have to do the big shop on a Saturday. We can have it delivered to a door. But
I think there's definitely something to be said there about purpose. It's like if you won the lottery today, it would be the best and worst day of your life.
Yeah.
Because in one sense, you'd have all the money you ever need.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have to work if you don't need to. But at the same time, would that purpose, that driven purpose be gone? I would argue that to most people winning the lottery would be like the worst thing that could happen to them because they would lose all sense of purpose.
There's a lot of stats around that, isn't there? Like wealth and...
I think so. And most people are quite... they've never had that much money, so... I mean, this is a mad conversation. For me, though, have you ever heard the term idle hands are the devil's playground?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
If I have a couple of days off and there's no structure to my days, I start getting really antsy, really sort of aggravated. And the only thing that keeps me sort of in kilter with running the business and having been a dad and is having a purpose to get up in the morning and do certain things.
Yeah.
What's going to get me out of bed
at
6 o'clock in the morning and do meaningful stuff with my life?
Yeah.
When you lose that, when all that's taken away and the convenience just creeps in. Life is easier. Life is easier. Yeah, you can sit down and watch Netflix all night. Yeah, you can get an Amazon delivery to your house. Yeah, you can get pizza within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But where's the purpose? How are you helping people?
Yeah.
Like to me, that's like if I won the lottery, I might do a bit of like a round robin around the world for 3 to 6 months. But it'd always come back. I'd always end up doing something.
Yeah, same.
I'd have to.
Same.
I don't think I would have the sort of inclination to stay off for the rest of my life.
No.
Like, what do you do every day?
Yeah, and also for your children, like they've got to watch you. You again going back to like people like Jamie Lang or whatever, but like those very privileged rich kids that I've come across in the finance sector, media sector, like they literally think it's just to go from one thing to the other, but they're not necessarily happy because they've got no purpose and they don't know how to work hard, and so it's like for your kids, if you won the lottery, I would want to show my son like me doing something purposeful and like working and being involved in something and being community driven, or like just for him to go, that's what's important, that's what's like important in life.
Maybe having that level of financial freedom would give you more opportunities to do stuff like that if you use it the right way.
Yeah, 100%.
So again, like the stuff we're talking about and stuff we talked about off camera is nuanced, right? It's very nuanced.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't born into money. One day, I'm quite open about it. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have lots of money.
Yeah.
But when I look at people I respect and admire who've made a lot of money, I look at that and go, what are their behaviours now they've got the money?
Yeah.
And it's always what you said.
Yeah.
The community driven, the giving back, the trying to help people in some way.
Yeah.
They're not just, they've got more money than they know, it could last generations. It's generational wealth. But you look at it and go, why are they still working? Why are they still doing meaningless stuff? And it's that thing of like, they've got this purpose. And they're not doing it for themselves anymore.
Yeah.
Because they could stop work whenever they want. They're doing it because they generally, the ones I respect and admire, they generally want to.
They want to make a difference.
Make a difference and help people.
Leave your mark, basically.
100%.
A legacy. That's like one of my biggest concerns, that I am not going to leave a legacy. Like, in some way. What would you want your legacy to be? That's a big question. Yeah. Just to really have made a difference in quite a few founders and entrepreneurs' lives, that they managed to be successful because somewhere along the line they spoke to me or dealt with me, that I helped make that change. But also just kind of changing the landscape around like female founders, diverse founders. You know, if I am lucky enough to live to like 80 years old, when I'm dying, I want to know that some of the top people up there it's a mix of diverse and female founders. When the race is run, you want that to be the case. Yeah. That's a great purpose. Yeah. And actually, again, I'm talking in nuance here. If you made that happen, you would live a financially free life. Yeah. By default. Yeah. Because you helped a lot of people. Yeah. And I always say, to us, the financial aspect of it is great. You know, it's great having loads of money or whatever. But it's a direct reflection of how many people you're helping. So if I do make £1 million, that has to be reflective of how many people I've helped. Yeah. You know? Yeah. If it's not, what the fuck am I doing it for? Yeah. It's just out for my own like monetary gain. It just doesn't really sit well. So, it goes back to the thing about winning the lottery. If you just got gifted £1 million, it's like, I know in my mindset it would be like, I don't deserve this. Yeah. So the fulfillment of actually going out and grafting and working for something and doing meaningful work for someone and genuinely helping people along that journey. Yeah. If it took you 20 years and made it, that'd be a lot more fulfilling than just randomly winning it on it. Yeah. I wouldn't say no to it if I won it. No. Do you do the lottery?
No. No,
that's the thing, we always have the conversation. I'm like, I haven't done the lottery in years, but we always have the conversation.
Again, I do it, like, on the odd occasion. Do you know if it's like...
massive.
Yeah, like, do you know if it's... Or say it's like my dad's birthday, or like... Yeah. Or it's like, I might buy like a lucky dip. Yeah. So like, just put in a card or something. Yeah. Like, I'll put the lottery on for you might win. Yeah. But I did see last week that the Euro Millions was £201 million. That's nuts. I think it rolled over again. Yeah. But you look at it and go, £200 million. Like, I don't think I'll ever make that in my lifetime. Like based on the numbers of what I've made so far at 38 years old, it's like...
Well, it depends if you come up with a big idea.
Well, that's our strapline at the
moment. There we go.
So when we talk about purpose, man, is the common denominator between all our clients was ideas. Yeah. All the people who were successful, all the people who had great results with us, all the people, even going back to when I was in fitness, all the people that were successful had a big idea. And I'd done a bit of research and I went down this massive rabbit hole. Have you ever seen the film Jerry Maguire? Yeah. Okay. So in Jerry Maguire, there's this like moment where he gets disenfranchised with the way these sleazy sports agents are just selling people down the road and marketing the hell out of these athletes and just in it for the money, basically. Yeah. And one day he goes home and he stays up all night and he's typing away on his laptop and he basically writes his mission statements but it's like pages and pages long. And then the next day, he's so excited. He's like, I'm going to revolutionise the business and I'm going to change everyone's mind. And then he makes this big, massive, grand speech in the middle of the office, and everyone's looking at him going, and then he just ignore him and carry on.
Yeah.
And the story of Jerry Maguire, it's one of my favourite ever films because it follows the story of creating that idea. And like everyone's against him.
Yeah.
No one thinks it's going to work, and he has this one client who believes in him.
Yeah.
And he makes him like the biggest star in the world. And at the end, he gets this contract for like 11 million. Back in January, like the baby was keeping me up one night, and I've basically done the same thing. I was like up all night, cracked open a Google Doc, coffee, and I basically just brain dumped everything, the way it worked, what I want to deliver, what the purpose is, into this Google Doc, and I give it a name and a title. It's called Social Media Blueprints, and it's good. It's purposeful, good work that I've done, and it's to me that's, if I execute that for the next 20 years, I will achieve everything I want, and I'll help other people achieve what they want as well.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. But the thing that I came across doing that was how many people have great ideas. Like you watch Dragon's Den, right?
So many.
You go and pitch to a good idea and then you get knocked back, or they might wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh fuck, I won't do that first thing in the morning, doing that thing. Or they might even get up and start doing it in the middle of the night, or they might just be in the shower, or they might run it past the parents and the parents like, no, don't want you to do that, I want you to get a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. Or financially, they got kids and they can't take the financial risk to do this thing, and they can't raise capital or whatever it is. And these big ideas just get wasted. Yeah. And it's a shame. And I think if we could create more of them ideas, the world would be better. Yeah. And people look at social media, and me and you have quite debates about this. Social media, I guarantee if people were creating their big ideas and putting meaningful content out there, social media would be a different place. Yeah. 100% it would. Yeah. And it's because people are disenfranchised and looking at this fucking garbage content that just either sells people down the river, that it's people putting fucking shitty opinions out there because it's clickbait, it gets views, they're chasing this thing. Yeah, the model is broken. Yeah. The model is fucking broken. Yeah. But I believe that it's within our power, with enough fucking ideas. Yeah. Excuse my language and passion about it. Am I allowed to swear on the podcast? Of course. Yeah. Right. With enough passion and good content out there, it can be a force for good. Yeah. It has been. We've seen it. If you go on social, you can find good stuff. It's just not what's clickable. Yeah. Or it's not what's it's not going to get the most views in the world. Well, I've got the biggest following. I run a social media company and I've got the biggest following in the world. Yeah. Sometimes people. But that's like a hairdresser. If a hairdresser's got really good hair, then you shouldn't trust them because they're too busy doing their own hair. You want a hairdresser with a hat because they're busy, because they're booked out. Cheers. That's a really good analogy. That's what I say to people when they look at my social media. I'm like, I'm too busy helping clients, and I don't need to do that much social media because I'm booked. Yeah. I'm booked out year in, year out. That. Yeah, I've got a 6-figure. I don't need to be faffing around on social media. Sometimes when I want to sell tickets for an event, you will find me. I'm fascinated. Right. So let's start. So we've been talking for. You and me about. We've been talking for 14 minutes already. The cameras are actually rolling, but we haven't done any intros yet. So for anyone in my audience who may not know who you are, I didn't realise you were recording. That's hilarious. This will get kept in, by the way. Yeah. What's your name? Who are you? What do you do? How do you help people? So I'm Carmel Dickinson. I'm the founder and director of Worthy, and also a starting entrepreneur on another business. What I do is I'm a business consultant. I help female and diverse founders predominantly build their businesses, grow, scale, or even just get started through sales, marketing,
understanding mindset, that kind of thing. Not a coach, I'm not a trained coach. I kind of take all my skills and knowledge of 20 years working in huge global businesses and building startups, and I sort of disseminate that into a bit of a playbook for people, but make it very personalised, because I am a big believer in growing success in your own terms. And the reason it's called Worthy is because I think it's really important that people just understand their true worth and fight for what they think they're worth, and whatever that looks like, however you want it to look. If you come to me and you're like, I want to grow a 5 million business, I'm like, great. If you come to me and be like, I only want to make $5,000 a year, you're like, great, whatever you want to do, let's just build it out for you and make it happen.
So, I suppose, out of my own curiosity, because we'll get into this, but I'm fascinated with like business models. How do you make that happen? If I came to you and said, right, I want to build a $50,000 a year lifestyle business.
Yeah.
How would we make that happen?
So I spend like I normally do like a 4-hour intensive workshop, and it goes fast. So I've built out a framework, and before you meet me on that day, I would send you a big kind of prep sheet, and I will ask you to spend 2 to 3 hours like answering the questions intuitively with your gut. And if you don't know the answers, then I would ask you to work out those answers. So some of it is about like your mindset, like do a SWOT on yourself, like what are you good at, what are you bad at, where have you achieved really well, where have you failed. But then other stuff like what are your marketing numbers, where are you at with your social, how much money do you want to make in a year, how much are your products and services worth, how much are they costing, what's your competition in the market. And if you come to me after that, doing that prep with a blank piece of paper, then it's like, are you really ready to start a business? Let's go again. And I can work through it with you. The thing people get stuck on is what I should be charging. And also, because I work with a lot of female and diverse founders who tend to play small for lots of societal reasons, they'll be like, well, I wanted to put 40 grand, but I put 40 grand, but I really would like 60 or 75. And I'm like, well, let's put 75. So then we'd spend like 4 hours together. If you really wanted the full impactful service, then I would go away and then write the business plan and strategy, marketing strategy, sales strategy, whatever I think your business needs down for you. Or I can just kind of do a 1-pager off that workshop. I always record the workshop. I don't answer the questions, you answer the questions. I just pull it out of you, and I'm a sounding board, because I understand what works, what doesn't work, understanding audience, understanding customers, and understanding good sales. Because ultimately, you should not be starting up a business if you're not willing to be a sales. You should call yourself a salesperson in the first year, not an entrepreneur or a founder. So that's kind of how you work with me. And I give you, a lot of my clients come away and say, I feel like you gave me the permission to go forward, or I feel like you kind of open me up to believe in what I'm doing is right.
What a message. What a message.
That is what I hear all the time, and I love it. So that's kind of how I work with people. But I also do small things like goal setting workshops, because some people have got that plan and they've done that work. So I'll do like goal setting, or some people are really struggling with sales, or they're really struggling with like their messaging, and I can kind of work on that. So it's quite bespoke, but that's kind of generally how I've planned it out anyway.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is cool. Very cool. I mean, the first question I always ask to any new client is, what's your big idea? We talked about this just previously.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your big idea? And then I'll say something like, quite surface level. They'll say something like, well, I want to build a consultancy, or I want to build a coaching business, or I want to build... Okay, so the question is, okay, what's the purpose behind that? What's the vision behind that?
Yeah.
What's the
why?
Mission to help people? And one thing I always do is get as much out of them as possible. So, like, literally, we just talk like this. I think podcasts are great at doing that, actually, because it gets people thinking about it. But I look at it and go, right, you've talked to me now for an hour and a half about this idea that you've got. That's amazing. Now what I want you to do is I want you to articulate it in one sentence. And hardly anyone can ever do it, myself included.
Yeah.
Like, what is it in one sentence? And it took me probably 6 months working with my business coach, Mark, to get this. And it was when I was doing missing statements, it just penny dropped. It was like, it's creating ideas. We create ideas. We create people's ideas.
Yeah.
And we also share the ideas. So we create them, but then we also share them. So one thing about the business was we started as a video editing business. So all we done was edit videos. We didn't even do videography.
Right.
We just edited videos.
Okay.
So people would send us footage.
Yeah.
And we would just edit it and make it look good.
Yeah.
But there was always just something nagging inside me. I was like, there's more than this. It's like, and as I got more clients, video editing takes a long time. Especially back then. My laptop wasn't that fast. So it kept like freezing and stuff.
Yeah.
And so then we went to doing video shooting, so it was more like a videography style business. And again, it was just like, I need a little bit more out of this, and like there's more juice to squeeze out of this. And then randomly, the gym that I was in at the time said to me, "Can you manage our socials for us?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then." It was COVID, so I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, go on." And I charged £200 for the month. And I was like, "This is a lot." I was like, "This is a lot of money."
Isn't it, when you think about the rates that you charge? Yeah. My day rate was so low when
how
I
that broke
started.
down, I was definitely losing money.
Yeah.
Like how it broke down.
Yeah.
Like I was probably doing 20 hours a week on one account for 200 quid.
Yeah,
It's like basically a part-time job.
So you've got to start somewhere, yeah.
So by the end of COVID, I had like 4 or 5 of them accounts, and I think I was making like £1,000 off doing all this fucking work.
Yeah.
I was like really over-delivering, but learning loads.
Yeah. So you're getting paid. Sometimes I look at that as like you're getting paid to learn.
Yeah.
You know, my early day rates, because I also work with businesses that are kind of established and they want to do a big growth strategy like double profit or something. And my day rate was so ridiculously low, but I'd only just started the business, so I was learning. So I felt like that was kind of right. You know, I could afford to take that low rate, and I was learning what my model, like that playbook came out of that, learning how to work with one-to-one clients.
How many clients did it take for you to get to that point where you like knew like what the framework was and what the blueprint was?
I mean, it didn't take long. When I first started, I was working with more established businesses. My background is sort of financial services, marketing, media. So I was kind of picking up a lot of people in that space who kind of seen what I'd built before I'd co-built another startup. But when I started I think probably about 6 months. It was weird. It was just before I went off on maternity, because I started my business when I was pregnant. So 9 months later, obviously, I was going off on maternity leave, and I picked up one sort of one-to-one client. She was in side hustle. She wanted to go and do it full time, and I kind of, for her, I really worked on it, and it worked. But I could see where there was like a few niggles and stuff. And then over my maternity leave, I worked up on it again. I did a lot of reading and went back to kind of my strategy learning and stuff. And then after that, and then I did a few then. And then I think, so it probably took about 1.5 years to get it to where it is now. And I still evolve it, because now I'm working with founders and small business owners that are really starting, especially moving to Liverpool, really, really early stage, or there's a lot of mindset blocks or challenges there. So I'm charging less but working differently, as opposed to some of my London coaches who I was charging a lot more for, but they were quite established because there's a big framework there already around coaching. So but when it comes to the bigger clients and like, you know, businesses that have got 20-30 staff, like SMEs or whatever, there's no framework there. That's just like knowledge. That's just, I've been working for 20 years in different businesses. You know, I work for one of the biggest global businesses. I work for News UK. Probably shouldn't say that in Liverpool, but here we are. When you see...
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal. I didn't work on The Sun. I worked on The Times and Sunday Times. But still, I was around The Sun. And there was a big conversation between me and my dad as to whether I should even go and work there. But it was 2 years, and it's... Anyway...
Did you learn loads doing that?
So much. Like commercial astuteness, like how to pivot really quickly, even when you're a big business, what to do when there's challenges. So when I was working there, the media landscape as we knew it was under challenge. Like, one thing Murdoch did not figure out or even believe, you know, these big CEOs, they make mistakes all the time, we know this. He did not think that Google and Facebook, etc., were going to be a threat to his advertising revenue. He loves newspapers, and he was a die-hard newspaper, and the revenue was just getting chomped up left, right and centre. And he just didn't believe that. He thought newspapers would be here till the end, and we can see that they're dying. But he kept pivoting, and then towards the end of my time there, he was buying up lots of. He bought up one of the first influencer businesses, like agencies. He bought a kind of like SEO company. He bought like a video content company. He was buying up social media like agencies and watching global radio, stuff like that. He was, podcasting. He was just like, he was buying businesses and growing and pivoting, and it's really interesting to watch how fast you can pivot even if you're massive. It's really exciting. It can happen. Yeah. So, yeah.
Interesting that. Very interesting. I mean, where do you see the future of newspapers now?
Good question. I don't think, it would be a shame, but I don't think we'll be picking up newspapers in about probably 5 years, I would say, when you see what's happening.
Would you say like it'd just be fully digital, subscription models?
Yeah, paid content, I think long form content is coming back, and I think there's still, I think it would be a shame to lose that journalism and a shame to lose that media model because the trust and because they're regulated. The problem with social media is it's not regulated, so this is why we have a fake news problem. Whereas I would speak to journalists sometimes, just come across them every so often, and the stories they would tell me, I've told you this before, haven't I? I've seen pictures of famous people doing very, very dubious things, and there's the hard evidence of that person doing that thing. And
so you get some celebrity doing coke in a club, in a bathroom of a club, for example.
Yeah, and that never makes it to the press because the lawyers are like, well, who was your source? Where did you get it from? How do you know it wasn't photoshopped, etc., etc.? Can you name the club that it was in? Journalists are there under you'll be surprised the amount of stories that they have quite a lot of evidence for that they can't run. I know a lot of people go, oh, it's all lies, and yeah, it's twisted. But and that regulation around news stories, I think, is important, and I think it's important to have that trusted media that you can go to and go, okay, so what is the story? Obviously, there's political bias that comes in. We know some papers are right and some are left, and how they frame the stories is different. But that fundamental fact checking still exists because of regulation. Because even someone like Murdoch, with all of his lawyers, would be like, we'll get so sued, there's no point. And you think about Johnny Depp and all and Prince Harry, how much money he's won off the papers. So I think it's a shame if they go, but I think it will be digital content. It will be kind of quicker, click-worthy, that kind of stuff, which is a shame because I would like to see papers and stuff. I don't know, maybe they'll have a resurgence like vinyl did, which would be great. But it's also things like environmental, like running the presses and staffing and what AI can do, and all of that technology is eating it up. So
what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest in cinema cameras, which are very fucking expensive, but they will basically last
forever
as long as they're plugged in, basically. So our vision is to be studio standard. So I want it to be like walking on a set of good one in Britain. Literally.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is there studios here in Liverpool? There must be, not TV.
I think
there's a lot of filming.
There's lots of filming that goes on. There's lots of sort of dramas that get filmed and stuff like that. In terms of, I don't actually know whether there's a TV studio in Liverpool, but I know I've been to the BBC one in Manchester. It's quite cool to look around, I suppose. It's really interesting what you say though about the newspapers, because I look at my own behaviour when I'm consuming that style of content, and I'm a social media business, so I fell down that trap of it's short form. Everyone's attention spans are so short now. We need to make the content as short as humanly possible. 3 seconds and your attention's gone. And I was always a bit dubious about that, because I was thinking, well, I got into all this because I fucking love films. I just love binge watching fucking old shitty movies on Netflix. And I was like, well, if I can keep my attention for 2 hours watching this crap film from the late 80s or early 90s, why can't I watch a YouTube video for half an hour? Well, I can. I can. So to me, it was always how good's the actual content itself. So I always put a big emphasis on how can I make my content just really fucking valuable and really good?
Yeah.
And then TikTok came along, and it was very game changing, because I was fascinated with TikTok when it first came out, and one of my big regrets in the business was not pushing it harder at the start, because it was, so basically when social media platforms first form, the age typically is quite low and it skews up. So you look at like the history of Facebook, it was very young demographic to start, skewed up now where it's like the average age of a user is probably like 50. Like my mum and dad are on Facebook, you never see them on TikTok, for example. But TikTok's now skewing up after 5 years. But what TikTok done was really interesting was the For You page. And the For You page was basically TikTok saying, we think we can put together a feed that's more interesting to you than what you can put together yourself. Yeah. Which was absolutely game changing, because they were right. So if I'm looking at business content and consultancy content and self-development content, TikTok went, well, we know that now, because our algorithms are good enough to recognise that, and we're going to serve you up more of that stuff because we think you're interested in it. Okay. And it worked. Yeah. And I always use this as like an analogy. Imagine going on holiday and you're in a hotel and your kids are playing with other kids and you become friends with their parents and you add each other on Facebook, and 5 years down the line you've never seen them again. Yeah. You're never going to see them again. Yeah. You've got no real interest in seeing them again. Yeah. You never really met. You might like the odd post or something, but like never really speak. TikTok realised that this kind of thing was happening, so you'd have like a load of people on your Facebook with that, or your feed that were like, I'm not interested in these people. Yeah. And they never post. I never speak to them. Yeah. But they're just there. And people were like switching off to it. So TikTok went, well, we're going to serve you up better content that we feel is more relevant to you. Yeah. And because they were right, Instagram and Facebook and the job of Meta, they copied. So now they've got the Explore page on Instagram. Now you've got YouTube Shorts. So these platforms took notice of this and were like, right, we need to do this because it's getting more attention. So people were like viewing stuff on TikTok and going, well, I'm getting served up more than what I'm interested in, so I'm just going to go there. So it's not like a battle for people on the platform anymore. It's a battle for attention. Yeah. It's like if social media was gone tomorrow, the attention's got to go somewhere.
Well, this is what I learned in media. Like all you're doing is you're just monetizing eyeballs. Yeah. That's all you're doing. You're just monetizing eyeballs and then loyalty.
How can we get the most eyeballs on your stuff? Yeah. And because of this, we've seen a rise in hate content and polarizing content to the extreme. And the reason why it's done really well, not that I'm enamoured by it in any way, is because it's so polarizing and it's so controversial that whether you love it or hate it, you will comment or people will watch it. And sometimes I find myself going into that. That said, it's my mission now to turn that around and go, how can we make this like really helpful, useful content that might not be clickbait worthy, or it might not get the most attention on it to start, but if someone actually done the thing, like I guarantee, right, if you go back for the past 3 years on my Instagram and done everything I've told you to do, you would have a successful business. Yeah. All the information. Yeah. I don't gatekeep anything. Yeah. All the information that I will tell you everything I know for free. Yeah. You don't have to pay me. Yeah. I'll tell you everything. And it's just a trust builder. Yeah. But I've not got the most attention. So, like, how do I make it? I've made it my mission now. So how can I get that content, the most attention on that content, not this fucking bullshit content that you're saying through like the likes of the Tates of the world and the Trumps of the world and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it's a really tricky subject matter to navigate sometimes.
Yeah, and that's why like people like Stephen Bartlett and stuff like win out, because before he started Diary of a CEO, he had a social media content video business, and he says that he basically, him and his team, like he has like a button under the desk, right? So as whenever someone says something that he thinks is like, you know, the way when you see his videos, it's like this whole clip, you know, and the way it starts is like, da, da, da. Like he hears those like little bites and then he presses a button, and then the social media team are like turning that into content straight away. And because he understands the power of like that kind of just that nugget or that saying or that soundbite for the click, because he studied that before he then did the podcast business, and then he's just learning as he goes, and he just watches it. But he has this team of people and this technology around him. It's always technology that wins at the moment.
It's not public knowledge this, but I would love to know what the click-through rate is from that short-form content that he does to a long-form piece, and how many people consume a full podcast.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It's fascinating that to me, like, because I know he does, and it builds on what you've said, like 100 thumbnail tests per reel. So, the scrutiny that's going into that. I mean, we do, 2 or 3 thumbnails, so we test out different thumbnails to see what gets the most views. They're doing over 100 per video.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast is doing like 1,000 per video.
Yeah.
So he's split testing these thumbnails for the most views. Thousands of times. So the same video is going on with a different thumbnail 1,000 times. The level of like what people are doing to get views is actually insane.
Yeah, and I think it's tough for people that like are watching it, not understanding, like having that knowledge that you have around what's going on behind the scenes and what work they're putting into it, and wondering why they're not getting any likes or they're getting any engagement, or something that they think should go viral is not going viral. And it's like, well, it's very, very little to do with the content, actually. It's to do with this, you know, this greedy beast of algorithms and technology and all of this stuff going on in the background. It's like,
what's paying the algorithm the most money to promote certain things? If you've got a company paying £100,000 a day to promote a certain product, obviously it's not going to say no to that money.
No,
exactly. I haven't got that much money to put into advertising, so like I can't compete with, you know, certain products because I've got the finance to do it.
Yeah.
So the only way to do that now is actually how do we make the content really fucking good so people want to watch it. Because it's not about the follow button anymore. The follow button has actually become pretty, it's not worthless, but like kind of a lot less meaningful than it was. Because if I make a piece of content that's you're my target audience, and I make the piece of content for you, and it's good enough, it will find you. It will find you. Whether you follow me or not. So when you look at your analytics, you see like what percentage of non-followers it's gone to, what percentage of followers it's gone to. The trouble is that people are getting fed some content that's just fucking like they should never be getting fed. And that's where I think I take your point that more regulations should come in around that, because, you know, I don't want my boys who are 4 and 1 now, but they will be getting older and they will probably end up on social at some point. I don't want them to be 12 years old and getting fed indoctrinating stuff.
36 minutes from opening an account, a teenage boy gets served an Andrew Tate manosphere piece of content.
It's mad, isn't it?
36 minutes.
I think that, and I take your point, I think that's where it needs to be some form of regulate. Now, in my head, I'm thinking, how can I make content that combats that? So I know in my heart of hearts, I'm making content that's generally trying to help people. If you asked Andrew Tate, he'd probably say the same thing. But I'm not doing it in a way that's perverse. In some ways. And misogynistic. So my thing is, how can I get that content to be shown to a boy in 36 minutes that might help them in a positive way, not something that's going to like indoctrinate them into something like a cult or whatever. And that's a big fucking rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, well, that's also just like, it's like trying to.
Like realistically, I'm never going to compete with Andrew Tate on views.
No, and also we know the way that, you know, so Zuckerberg last year changed the laws around what was acceptable and what was non-acceptable in terms of things to be said. So more hate speech is filtering through. And then secondly, we know that they will elevate the darker, content, the more violent, the more, you know, scary content, because people spend more time on it. Like, it's like, you know, you shouldn't, but when you see a car accident, you slow down to have a little look, you know, and that causes more car accidents. Like, that is exactly what goes on social media. Like, Mark Zuckerberg knows people will slow down and look at the darkness, and most people are like, love getting into a little fight and having an argument or reading the comments.
If you go into like a local Facebook group, like every area that someone lives would have like a local Facebook group.
Yeah.
So all one is Eastern Matters.
Right.
I mean, the amount of fucking shit that gets put in there.
Yeah.
And it's the same. I totally understand what you're saying, and I totally agree. Getting these things put in there, and people are saying this stuff just to get attention. It's all attention.
Yeah.
So it's like you get Maureen, who's 72, who's moaning about a pothole in the road. I find it disgusting that the council haven't been able to fix this pothole in the road. Unless you're getting comments like that, and then you get a whole list of people commenting, oh yeah, it is disgusting. Where's, you know, the local MP when you need them, da-da-da. And I'm thinking, it's all attention. It's all just, like, Mark Zuckerberg has done that thing because he wants to drive as much eyeballs to his platform and away from the other platforms.
Yeah, it's a societal thing as well. I think people have found a place where they feel like they're being heard. So, you know, we were sort of talking about this, like, you would, so she's upset with the council won't listen to her, she won't be able to speak to the council. Now, a few years ago, she was upset about that pothole, she probably would have got annoyed about it, moaned to her husband about it, and then just had to get over it and just deal with it. Like, if you think about past generations, the stuff that they put up with and dealt with, and the quality of life sometimes was poorer in some respect, but because they had no outlet, they could just write to an MP. So now we have this vehicle for people to get their frustrations and feel like they're being heard, which people should be people should be heard, but now it's just opened up this worm. Like, if you think about, like, some of the things, like, I had someone like comment on my appearance on a post of someone else's post, and and I thought, there's never in a million years would that person walk up to me in the street and say that to me. There's no way. But, like, if you think about, and there's all this, there's these frustrations, there's this anger, and knowing that they might get some attention from it, they might get some likes and follows from that commenting. Because I think commenting is the new thing now. I think people should be spend less time creating their own content. I think they should just be going around commenting, like, positive comments. I mean, it's an outlet. We're giving people an outlet.
That's a really good point. If every person that was on social media spent 30 minutes a day commenting positive stuff on other people's posts, positive stuff, I guarantee within 6 months social media would have changed. Yeah. And now, I don't want to be this person who's like, obviously, there's a yin and yang to this. For every positive, there's a negative. Yeah. So you can't have endless positivity without any negativity. Yeah. It's always going to be there. So I get that. But when kids are going out and pulling pranks on people in public parks for views, and, you know, terrorising old people in public parks, for example, and destroying monuments and all this kind of stuff for basically attention. It's all a load of shit, mate. Like, I mean, how can that? I mean, I don't know what the answer is to it, because because ultimately what people are after is attention. But I don't think people have changed.
But that's the social media. It's like, if you're committing an illegal act to gain attention on a social media platform, it should not be allowed. Yeah. Because, you know, there is a lot of conversation around, you know, seeing things all the time, but you become desensitized to it. Pornography is a good example. Violence is a good example.
When you look at what's that girl who's going around sleeping with 1,000 men in a day?
Bonnie Blue, yeah.
She is all over the algorithm. Yeah. How is that fucking possible? Yeah. How is that possible? Like, to a girl who's 15 years old, who's probably coming from an age where she's starting to think about boys and, you know, probably being influenced by friends and family, and that is getting served up. Yeah. Fuck me. Like, that. I mean, that's where, to me, like, the big companies need to do a far better job. Yeah. I mean,
the problem we have is that so what happens is someone like Bonnie Blue's a really, really good example, right? She comes up on my feed all the time because I'm a feminist who follows feminist content, and lots of feminists talk about her because they're like, how damaging this is for men, how damaging this is for women. The feminist politics around someone doing what she's doing about body autonomy. There's a feminist argument that you should be, that sex work is respectful work, and that people are entitled to do what they want with their bodies and earn money the way they want to do. But then there's also the conversation about how damaging it is potentially to her mental health and to people seeing it, right? So she comes up in my feed there. So what she's doing is she's on this morning's couch. She's been on this morning with a feminist next to her, kind of having the argument, and that's what she knows she's doing. Because and what we should do is we just should not talk about her. Like Andrew Tate, we should stop talking about him. We should stop talking about him. We should be talking about other things. And then the algorithm won't feed it to us anymore because we're not interested in it. But we can't help ourselves because it is so. And she knows that, and he knows that.
So whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's attention.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew Tate was on Big Brother. Like, I mean, he started out with trying to get the reality TV
he was on Shipwrecked years ago.
Yeah, he's been chasing fame.
I used to fucking love Shipwrecked on a Sunday morning.
It was good.
Do
you know what? They should bring that back, and I tell you what, there'd be a load of 40, 50-year-olds and parents that would go on Shipwrecked. Shipwrecked for parents. Just bring it back. We're all just tired.
Well, it was Vernon Kay and June Sarpong.
Oh, yeah.
Who used to present T4, and then they used to have Shipwrecked on, and I used to basically hung over in bed at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning watching Shipwrecked. I loved it. My mum would bring me a bacon bussy. It was nice.
Yeah, they were the days when watching telly hungover.
It's such an interesting topic to me because I've got the best intentions to try and change that stuff. And you are right, that stuff just shouldn't be getting any attention.
Yeah, it's really hard not to.
Because people are debating it.
Yeah.
And people are saying it's wrong. Inadvertently, they're promoting it.
Yeah. They promote because it is important to have that discussion about why Andrew Tate's content is so harmful. So, and for every piece of content that he puts out, you think you've got to have the counter argument for people to kind of understand. Like if he's just out there pushing the content and no one's saying anything, that's quite damaging as well. But it's actually the way you're going to win is, and that's why cancelling in some respects does kind of work, because you just go, right, we're just not talking about this person anymore. And you think about things like, or you just change the narrative around that person in a really strong way. So you think about the Me Too movement, you think about Black Lives Matter, you think about how people have used it and come together as a community. And you think about winning and losing political kind of votes and stuff like that. When people come together and say, we're not going to stand for this anymore, and change the narrative around that. There was a petition around recently because Spotify was putting his courses, and some of these courses were about trafficking women and how to control women and have power over women, and they were on Spotify because Spotify was just not filtering correctly. And there was a petition that went round to get Spotify to take it down. Boycotts work. We've seen Starbucks is a good example. You've seen people boycotting brands because of Gaza. It does work, but it just takes a lot of numbers. And I think what Andrew Tate and Bonnie Blue have cashed in on is they're kind of in that medium ground, that we're this gender war that we're scarily sitting in at the moment, and they've got it and they know it. And sometimes this is what I talk about.
They're just playing it like the perfect game for them.
Yeah, and what I wish is that, and sometimes I talk about this a little bit when I'm working with founders and I'm working with people, is like, there are people out there that are going for that money, and if you don't go for it, they will. And I guarantee it'll be someone who has less scruples than you, or ethics or morals than you do. So
she's making upwards of £2 million a month, basically by shagging men.
Yeah.
But 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
Literally lined up in the streets.
Yeah.
So if you're one of these disenfranchised white boys that we talked about, and they're growing up and they're getting fed all that content, and then they're like, well, I'm not getting any dates on Tinder. I'm not getting any swipes. All the girls that I fancy don't fancy me. They don't even talk to me. And the ones that do, I'm not really that interested in, or I wouldn't be, seen with in public or whatever, because I've been fed this stuff. And then you've got this good-looking, pretty girl who's basically saying, you can come and have sex with me at any time he wants, just line up.
And there's a lot of men that are lining up, so it's not like a taboo. She's got 1,000 men, so there's 1,000 other men.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal.
But is it like it's a combination of like, and also the manosphere and
so
incels saying that
when I think about that stuff, I'm just so happy I've got boys. I'm so happy that I've got boys.
Why? Because you're worried about
if I had a girl and I found out she was being influenced in that way, because whether we like it or not, when you get into your teenage years, you're less and less influenced by your parents.
Yeah. From 10 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So as I would be. I think it's just better for my mental health to have boys, because I think I've seen a lot as well. Like in my life, I've seen a lot. So like I know what boys can do, I know what boys like can't do.
Yeah.
And most of the time, when girls and boys get into arguments or whatever, or they fall out, it's usually like flirting gone wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's never really like, it's never really like, not going to say never. There's a lot of nuance to this. But most of the time that I've found, and could be different for other people, is boys who are 15 don't know how to flirt with girls. So they might say the wrong thing, and girls might be a little bit, ooh, you're creeping me out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if they're getting told, like, boys are, these evil people, and they're getting creeped out by some flirting gone wrong, it's kind of like, you're 15, you don't really know how, But as they get older, and then they're getting told all that stuff, and then they're seeing Bonnie Blue, or they're seeing Andrew Tate, or they're seeing this and that, it's like, it's just a clusterfuck of.
Then aren't you worried that your boys are then going to get arrested for the nuance around consent and, for grabbing a girl, like this adolescence? I know that's an extreme case.
It's weird, isn't it? Because, like, we talked about when we were younger.
Yeah.
If you wolf whistled a girl from across the street, the girls would love it. Now they fucking don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, the whole dynamic has changed.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we didn't have Facebook. We had the MSN Messenger and a few little bits.
Yeah.
So we would more proactively go out and chat girls up, and the girls really appreciated it. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't exist now, but it's a lot harder to do that, and it's a lot harder for young boys to navigate. So I feel like I need probably more educating on that subject going into, like, having boys going to go into teenage years. But I think, like, as a parent, the only thing you can do is just show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Like, be the man you want. Like, be the man or woman that you want your kids to model.
Yeah.
Like Becky, my partner, she's a fucking great mum.
Yeah.
So I know, like, touch wood, like, nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But if you model the values and the ethics and the person that you want them to become, they will be more likely to become that.
Yeah.
And it's not perfect, because some people are really good people who end up having really shitty things happen to them.
Yeah, and it's it's trauma and different kind of outside sources. And now when we were kids, we were kind of closeted, like what our ethics were at home, what paper our parents read, the things they were the TV that they chose to watch. We were kind of absorbing that. And the places that we were taken. Whereas like now, a kid can then you could take your child out for the day. You could take them to, a really beautiful festival. It's like, or you could take them to a march. You could take them to Pride, and then they come home and then they go lock themselves in the room. And then within 36 minutes, there's the manosphere telling them what else. And maybe they felt, if they were a straight young man, they might have felt like, where do I fit in this Pride world? Where am I? I quite like football, and I quite like being a lad, and I quite like the things that that is.
You're strong,
but I feel like I'm not allowed to like that now, because my mum's
Yeah, if you're a strong leader, and if you're from a house where your dad is a really strong leader, and your mum is the traditional mum, like who nurtures the house, the dad's the main financial breadwinner. the world has changed a lot since.
So much, like the outside sources, like that our kids are being influenced by, it's just scary to me.
But it's two rights of the same coin. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's both things can be right. Two truths can be right at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's where it's tricky.
Yeah.
So you can be that strong alpha male leader guy.
Yeah, of course you
can. But
can.
you can also be the empathetic, kind person.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
Just because you're this alpha male leader doesn't mean you're a bad person.
No.
Or just because you.
But that's what I'm saying. If the algorithm potentially, if you think about my son, for instance, if he was looking at my social media, you know, I mean, he's only 4, so he's not looking at my social media, but when he gets older, so say my algorithm is still very similar, a lot of feminist content, a lot of, you know, stuff about sexual violence against women, a lot of LGBTQ+, but he was, you know, a real football loving kind of straight lad, down the pub, and that's what he liked. I would never stop him from being that. I always want him to be who he is. Yeah. But he might look at my content and think I'm wrong. So then he goes to find his place. We always go to find our place in the world, and we should be able to find it. But sadly, that space, that working class culture of football and everything has been infiltrated because those people do feel disenfranchised. And it's not necessarily disenfranchised by feminism. It's disenfranchised by, you know, the fact that we're in a cost of living crisis. It's harder to get jobs. It's harder to get careers. It's harder to make money. Yeah. And then he goes upstairs and hides in his bedroom and looks at football content and then gets served this manosphere content. I've lost him. And that's kind of what that adolescence was talking about. We're losing our children to this content, and that's being controlled by algorithms and content creators and stuff because it's not regulated. So it doesn't. So whereas like when you and me grew up, there wasn't that outside voice. There was our school friends, there was like TV and magazines, and then there was like our parents. So we are always closer to our parents. It scares the hell out of me.
I remember.
This is turning into a nostalgic podcast.
So I remember when we first started going to the pub.
Yeah.
And the smoking ban wasn't in it, so you'd walk in and there'd be smoke on the roof. You couldn't even see the roof because it was so packed in smoke.
Yeah.
And you go in, and before 5 o'clock in our local pub, it was £1.95 for a pint. And after 5 o'clock, it went to £2.05p. Right?
Yeah.
So I'd take 20 quid out at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And you'd get 10 pints because it was under the £2. And I'd be gutted if it spilled over 5 o'clock because like I'd have to take 30 quid out because I'd have to break into the coin. You couldn't pay on your phone or anything.
Yeah.
And I'd have, I'd quite readily go through 10 pints on a Friday afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm 19 years old after work. I've worked on a building yard, sort of thing. Now you're looking 50 quid straight away. So just bringing it back to business. Worthy consultancy.
Yeah.
Over the next 3, 6, 12 months, 5 years, whatever. What's the sort of big vision?
Oh God, you were asking me at a time when I'm at a huge pivot. So I've started.
Let me reframe that. If you could wake up every day, and do one thing that you were so passionate about and absolutely love to do, what would it be?
I would love to constantly be in rooms. I think we need to change the way that we talk to female and diverse founders, and we need to create spaces for female and diverse founders that includes white men. And that conversation needs to branch out. And I also think the way that we sometimes talk to female and diverse founders is in this. I've had this conversation before where you go to a women's conference and you spend an hour, 2 hours in a workshop about confidence, and the gifts that you get given are kind of, beauty gifts and etc., which there's nothing wrong with that. Women love beauty products. We love a free beauty product, don't get me wrong. And some of us do struggle with our confidence for societal reasons. But if we're wasting an hour of our time not learning about marketing, not learning how to get good at sales, you can be as confident as you want. You need to get out there. You need to. I do subscribe to. You need to learn how to run a business, and you need to learn that stuff. And I think we just need to give people more tools, because I think that's a self-perpetuating conversation sometimes that happens. That, you know, I study sociology at college, and it's like, if anyone's heard of like Irving Goffman's asylums, where the study was they put sane people in asylums and they went mad, and they studied the police going around very predominantly black areas and then very predominantly white areas, and they were pulling black kids up off the street constantly for nothing. So then they were like, well, we might as well commit the crime. So I feel like I find with a lot of founders, they have the big idea, they have the knowledge, they're smart, but they tell themselves some stories about not being confident enough or having imposter syndrome, and these things exist. They exist.
Is that like talking themselves out of it, sort of thing? Talking
themselves out of it, but also because when you go to an event, you're told, well, you need to go to this. You need to learn confidence before you go and do it. But I know lots of very unconfident men, let's say white men, that are just doing it anyway. And I think you just need to do it anyway. And I think you need to understand your responsibility and why you're not being successful. And that's the kind of stuff, like, I would love to be having like big, huge events that are, how do we change this narrative? Only 9% of funding is going to female investors, 1% to LGBTQ plus investors. Yeah. But it was a gay man that created OpenAI. One of the biggest, it's 0.06% to black women. Who's one of the biggest entrepreneurs, most successful entrepreneurs? Oprah Winfrey. Like, and we know that if you encourage female founders and diverse founders, that is 160 trillion into the global economy. If more of those people are starting businesses and succeeding in businesses, if you encourage more women to just invest the same as men do in things like crypto, women are more, and diverse founders are more likely to invest in ethical funds. That's another 250 million or billion, I think, into the economy if women were investing the same way as men. Yeah. So we need to encourage them to get financially independent, and it's changing and it's shifting, but there needs to be more content, and I want to be creating that, whether it's my own events or I want to be working with other businesses to say, this benefits us all. And we know that there's like a higher return, 30% higher return on those founders. Why would you not want to invest in that? So it's more angel investors that are women or diverse, more white men investing in women and diverse founders. It's just changing that conversation, but also giving those people that power when they have that big idea to just get on with it and just do it and not be scared. I love that. Yeah, it's just we just need to be pushing people to just work a little bit. And I remember when Kim Kardashian got really dragged through the coals about, she said on a Vanity Fair interview, and I'm not a big fan of Kim Kardashian. I think she's fascinating as a businesswoman and all of the things that she's done. But she said...
Massive personal branding.
She said, you just got to get up and you just got to work. And then she got dragged through the coals, right? Absolutely dragged through the coals.
Thing happened with Molly May from Love Island.
Molly May.
She said, I'm
something about she was on Stephen's butt. Yeah.
I'm totally probably butchering what she said here, but she said something along the lines of, it doesn't matter what background you're from, just get up and work. Yeah. So it's something along those lines.
Yeah. And then she was talking about like her Pretty Little Thing deal. And I understand why people get angry at stuff like that. But I got a social media post that's probably buried in the deep when Kim Kardashian said it. The Rock said it. Steve Jobs said it all the time. There's a million quotes by men that say exactly the same thing, and everyone's like, yes, you just got to get up and you got to do the work. And that's the thing. And even if you only have 8 hours a week or 2 hours a week, you can make huge changes. You could really you can. If it's just about finding the time, and there has never been a slightly easier time to start a business, technically. And there is these blockers, like as in we're not getting invested in as businesses. There's all these things, but there are so many people that are achieving great things. Like Oprah Winfrey, you look at her background. She had a premature baby at 14. She was being sexually abused. She came from the poorest of the poor. Tony Robbins, alcoholic mother. Stephen Bartlett, very poor background. These people have overcome because they've asked, They've not been scared. They've put in the time, whatever little bit of time that is, and that's sometimes just what it takes. And I feel like we just need to get, but you need to just give people the power to do it. And I understand that some people are working 3 jobs and they have no money. But even if you went home every night and made a couple, with social media, as much as we're kind of being positive and negative about it, you start putting a reel out there. You know, you think about Molly May. She was just doing videos in her room.
If you put, let's say, if you have a phone that has social media on.
Yeah.
I understand some people don't, so that's a barrier. But if you have a phone with social media on and a camera on, that's your barrier to entry now.
Yeah.
To starting building a personal brand.
Yeah.
Now here's something that's quite powerful that I always think about is when me and you were in school, our generation, you would have a big company logo. But you wouldn't necessarily know who the CEO was. You wouldn't necessarily know who the bigwig was. I actually worked for companies when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know who the managing director was. Never met him. Never met the CEO, the financial director. But, you know, these were people who were quite anonymous. There was no social media around. You wouldn't know these people. These days, if you look at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, he's got a bigger personal brand than Real Madrid, who's a company that, who's a fucking huge, biggest football company in the world that employed him.
Yeah.
So he is now so they are now leveraging his brand to promote their stuff, not the other way around.
Yeah, yeah.
That means that the barrier to entry for this stuff now is literally a phone with a camera on.
Yeah. And things like, so I think LinkedIn's a really powerful tool. I know you're a bit sort of at 50-50.
No, if you haven't got if you're from a poor background and you haven't got access to a phone with a camera on, fine. But you can go, and it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder to do. But what can you do?
Yeah.
You can go into an open library, a public library.
Yeah.
Sign up to a LinkedIn account.
Yeah.
And you can write a personalised message.
Yeah.
To basically anyone at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
But you can also, my thing is, I think some of the best entrepreneurs, some of the best founders, they're constantly learning. And the amount of it worries me sometimes because I think to myself, why would someone pay to come to one of my events when they could get the same content by going to the library and getting 5 business books and then going online? LinkedIn do all of these.
Okay, why don't you?
Because I think it's about community, so and I think it's about personalisation.
Me and you can crack out our phone now, go onto ChatGPT, and find out anything we want about anything. Yeah,
exactly.
If we want to learn about the ancient Romans or the ancient Egyptians or how the pyramids were built or how to build a business, ChatGPT, make me a social media plan for a consultancy in Liverpool. Yeah. Done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The information is literally... So, I'm passionate about this. Information used to be valuable.
Yeah.
It was scarce. Now it's readily available to us.
Yeah.
So the value of information is essentially zero.
Yeah.
So actually giving people more information on social is actually kind of like a value takeaway in a sense because you're inundated with this absolute mammoth mountain of bullshit information. You can find 3 tips to this, 5 tips to this, how to do this, and you're just adding to that shit heap of information. With information that is probably never going to be used. They're never going to do anything with.
Yeah.
But if they knew that information and they actually actioned it, they would make a difference in their life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I don't gatekeep anything.
Yeah, it's the same.
So the question then is, how do we get... So the question is, how do we get people to your events when you could get the same thing on ChatGPT? The reason they're doing that is because people want community, people want connection, people are striving for human connection. Disenfranchised white men go into a place where they feel involved and they feel valued, and women where they feel like they're learning something about business and they're actually being taken seriously in the workplace. Yeah. And all that's coming together in one place, such as your events. Yeah. That's more compelling than ChatGPT, but that's not more information. Yeah. Giving people saying, I've got an event on this day and it's going to no one cares. Yeah. So what are they getting? Yeah. What's the benefit of it? Yeah. The benefit is connection. Yeah. And community. Yeah. And shared insights.
Yeah.
We've talked today, quite nuanced debate and quite a nuanced conversation about loads of different topics, and I've learnt loads. So I've got a totally different perspective now. But you're not just feeding me information. You're giving me a unique perspective and a shared insight.
Yeah.
A certain thing that I wouldn't necessarily know about, and vice versa. And as a result of that, people watching this podcast, they're not getting. We're not just ploughing people with information. It's context around the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what makes people come to your events.
Yeah.
Because they could get it on ChatGPT.
Yeah, they could.
People can get all my stuff.
Yeah, TED Talks are on YouTube.
Everything that you can get with, and I say this openly, everything that you can get in my service, which I charge a couple of grand for now, is on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So if you want it, go and get it for free.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay me $3,000 to do it.
Yeah. I know. But I think it's, I think sometimes that content, like I was talking about this yesterday, that I'm really obsessed with a content creator and an author and a writer. She's got so many hats, Candice Braithwaite. And I saw her, she spoke at an event of one of my ex-clients, and she was a keynote speaker. Now, some of the stuff that she did and spoke about at that talk, you would never see, you would never hear, but the collective energy of what she was telling people, how she was talking, what she was sharing in context to her life, like it was a fireside chat, she was being interviewed by a really wonderful financial influencer and content maker. So the conversation between them was it was just, I'm a big believer in live events, and that experience and looking around and then going and chatting to other people. I mean, I believe that you could scrap social media tomorrow and businesses would still succeed, because your net worth is your network. You and me didn't really meet on social media. Hardly any of my clients have I not met them in person somewhere before. I'm meeting them in communities. I'm meeting them networking and stuff like that. So you don't get that from online. And also the problem with online is that it's very overwhelming. So there's so much out there, and sometimes you listen to these podcasts. Here's a good example. You listen to like the founder of Airbnb, and he'll say, what you need to do is you need to get some sleep, and then you're like a mother of two young kids. You're like, well, yeah, good for you. You've probably got a nanny. So sometimes that information isn't tailored to you. Yeah. So and there's a wrath of it, but it's a bit of two, right? I feel
seen and heard.
They're like, get good sleep. Sleep is really important. You're like, well, great, yeah. I mean, I was sleeping in my son's bed from 4 a.m. this morning because he's having nightmares. So it's like, sometimes you have to just pluck what you can, where you can, when you can. If I was going to say to anyone, if you're thinking about starting a business, even if you don't have an idea, just spend a year learning. Just spend a year and finding out what strategy, what process, what works for you, like LinkedIn, Instagram, where are your audience, who do you want to work with?
I would actually add to that and say, even if you haven't got an idea, or you're navigating maybe a career change or doing something else with your life, I would even just go as far as say, make content around that journey. Yeah. And just be like, you know what? I'm actually looking for something else. Yeah. And I don't know what that looks like yet, so I don't know what it is. But I'm going to do this. Yeah. And take people along for that journey with you. It's so compelling. Yeah. It's not feeding people more information that they don't need. It's not... And as a result of that, if that person was you 2 years ago, and you took them on that journey, and you got to the point where I've now got a fully fledged business consultancy, and I'm putting this live event on for female founders and diverse founders, and it's in Liverpool, and it's going to be full of different people with different businesses.
October the 14th is
October the 14th
or 15th, I'm not sure. Yeah.
So we look at that and go. I'm going to go to that one because I've followed that journey the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm bought into that.
Yeah.
Versus the 10 others who have exactly the same information, but haven't took them along for the journey. Yeah. So what you'll find is, like, business consultant will come up and just pop up, oh yeah, I've got this event on. Yeah. Buy a ticket. Yeah. And it's like, why should I buy tickets? Like, if I've consumed, like, I put out a lot of content. I don't expect every person to watch every post. I don't expect each post to go viral. I don't expect every post to get a ton of views. But over time, I've given so much value away, and I've built up that little bit of like subconscious thought in people's head that if ever you need a social media guy or everything you need some social media managers or consultant or coach on all things marketing, then I'm front of mind.
Yeah.
And because it's just constantly just dropping in a little bit. Oh, do you know what? That little thing that he said was quite useful there. Or that little thing that he said was quite useful there. And in 30 seconds, you can't really get nuanced conversation across.
No.
But we're just having nearly an hour and a half. You know what I mean? So,
but that's, you know, like talking about that journey and stuff, like, you think about, like, we've just talked about Kim Kardashian, right? So you think about Kim Kardashian, she got famous for being Paris Hilton's friend with a sex tape, and there's still questions now about whether that was, she did that on the sex tape on purpose, or whether it was an accident or whatever. So that's where she started, a reality TV show. Her dad was involved in the O.J. Simpson case, which was, you know, dubious at best. And now look at her, she's a billionaire with these huge brands selling apparel.
You could actually argue that she's took something that could have went like Bonnie Blue style and made it into some, like, an empire that's potentially helped a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, that's debatable, but there's probably a lot of women out there that have been helped by Kim Kardashian in some way. Yeah. So it's very interesting, and that's the power of personal branding, right? Yeah, but also the power of, you see her in her early days. There's some really funny footage, which I love. She's getting walloped by Ray J. Is it?
Not that. I haven't seen that content. I've seen that video. Thank you very much. But like, there's the. She's opening up. There was like a toilet paper brand, did this weird immersive experience in New York, and she opened it, like cut the toilet paper, and then that was in it. So she literally said yes to everything. She just was like, she was like the face of this brand. Remember they had like a Dorothy Perkins range. It's not high end, which you associate with her now. You know, now she's working with Dolce & Gabbana. But she said yes to everything, and she got her sisters to say yes to everything, and she just said yes to everything. And you listen to Stephen Bartlett when he started, he didn't necessarily say yes to everything, but he asked. He would send emails upon emails. If you know Alex Hermanza, you know, and he's like all big on affiliate and course selling and high ticket sales. He's like 4 hours a day you should be sending emails if you've got 4 hours a day. And this is another thing I should say to people, emails are free. Just send emails to people and just ask the question. Like Stephen Bartlett very often will put a LinkedIn post that says, pitch me your ideas. You think about Simon Squibb, just send the email, just ask the question, just put yourself in that space.
Well, if you build, and that's again tying back into personal branding, and we'll wrap this up in a minute, but when you look at personal branding, I guarantee if you get an email off someone, you might just go down the pecking order of your to-do list. You might just ignore it. You might just post it. I guarantee if you get an email off Stephen Bartlett, you're answering it straight away.
Exactly.
And that's the power of personal branding. Yeah. Because it opens a door for you.
And he says send an email about 8 times. You know, he expects that. He's like, I expect. But also, I am starting a business in the ADHD space. There's a relatively well-known British celebrity who has an even more very famous partner, and who is open about their ADHD. I sent him a DM and I said, this is what I'm doing, and I want a board of advisors. Would you be interested? Yes, I would be interested. I left him a voice note about what the business plan was, and he said, still very interested. I've got a lot of work that's going on at the moment, but I just keep me updated and just let me know. And I'm no one, and I've got 1,000 followers. I asked the question, and then also I had conversations.
Was this on social?
It's on social. But I also had another conversation with someone, a relatively well-known celebrity, singer, TV personality. I contacted their agent about a podcast idea. I think they'd be the perfect person to be on the podcast. Yes, interested. Not for a year. They're doing this, that, and the other. But keep the conversation going. Yeah. I'm pitching an idea for a TV show. Because you just do it, just get on with it, just do it. Like if you
don't have to question, the answer's always no, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a big salesperson, so it's always like I'm always pitching, I'm always negotiating, I'm always dealing, I'm always asking the question. And you hear about people and they say a lot of their success comes down to luck, being in the right place at the right time, but also because they sent the email, they asked the question, they put themselves in the room. Like if you know where someone's going to be and you want to work with them, go. And just say it to them. And I had a chance encounter with Stephen Bartlett where he was speaking at an event, and I said to him, this is what I'm doing, the TV idea. And he was like, I think it's great. Try and find a way to tell me more. You know, that was just a counter. I've followed it up with him a couple of times, but I need to get the production team for the TV show. But you just got to do it. None of this could happen for me, but it could all happen for me. Yeah. Don't know.
I liked what you were about before you came on, and I like it even more now. So thank you so much for
trolling celebrities on social media.
Thank you so much for coming on. I've learnt loads on that, and I'm going to get this house and you get all the content from it.
All right, thank you.
If anyone wants your help, where's the best place they can find you?
LinkedIn, Carmel Dickinson. My website is Worthy Consultancy, and I'm at Carmel Worthy on Instagram.
I will tag all that into the podcast.
Or netwalking on a Saturday morning.
Get to netwalking. Cheeky plug there as well.
You can stalk me around Sefton Park.
Yeah. Thanks so much for your time, mate. I appreciate it.
Thank you.